and welcome back to Podcast 572. I am your host, as always, Kyle. I'm joined by my two friends, Dan and Matt. We're going to do what we do every 2 weeks. We're going to talk about what we've been playing. We're going to go through the news, and we're going to take more of your emails, which I'd say it's like 50-50 this week. We have some GameStop ones. We have some non-GameStop ones. So we'll go ahead. We'll kick off as we do every week. We'll talk about what we've been playing. I have finished Days Gone. In terms of the story, I still have like side stuff, but really enjoyed the story. I'm not going to spoil anything about the game, but I will say the one thing that's a bummer, knowing that they're probably never going to make a sequel to this game. They actually set it up for a really potentially interesting sequel idea.
Well, that whole sequel thing for that got crushed pretty hard.
Yeah,
because they went to them and said, we want to do it. And they're like, nah, you're done. And they moved on.
I'll also say like the game is kind of structured like Red Dead. So like you finish the story, but it has like an epilogue. So like after the story's done, you can keep doing missions. And then one of the final ones is like talking to a specific person. And it's this person that was kind of helping you throughout the game, but you never get to like see their face. And there's a reason why. And then that's explained at the end of the game. So that's like the most vague description I can give it. But at the same time, it sets up a like fantastic idea for a sequel that just will never happen. So but sad. I just have side stuff in that game to do, like taking out different enemy camps and stuff. So
how long did it take you to finish it?
So I did a lot. I did like most of the side stuff while I was playing the game. So I don't have too much left to do, but when I looked at the like ticker when I was done, it was about 60 hours. So I put a lot of time into it.
Okay, I mean, that's so
it's lengthy. Like, it's not a short
Horizon.
game.
It's like Horizon.
It's like a Horizon. Right? Yeah. I would say it has 3 acts total. Like it has the first act where I thought the game was wrapping up, and then it opened up this completely different second act. And then it has like what I would call the third act where you know who the real bad guy is and you're going to take that person out.
Right. Okay.
And then after that, it just kind of opens up like it's an epilogue. So, but yeah, I mean, I also did like, I'd say 75% of the side quest while I was playing the story. So
yeah, like
that added to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it took me about 60 hours, and I'd say when I'm all done, it'll probably be like 65. So just with a little bit I have
too
left.
bad.
So, but again, and the best thing, then the coolest thing about it too is like if you have PlayStation Plus, it's already there. Like even the basic tier of it, it's on that like game collection. I believe they gave it out as a free game on PlayStation Plus at one point. That's how I had it.
Yeah,
that's how I got it.
And if not, for whatever reason, it's dirt cheap. Like I've seen it like $10 at Walmart at this point. So it's definitely worth it. And if you have a PS5, it's one of those PS4 updated to PS5 games. So it runs at 60 frames. It looks incredible. It's definitely worth it. Like I came way around on that game after kind of bashing it for a couple of years because I just didn't think I wanted another zombie game with a biker dude.
Just at the time, it was just one of those things where it wasn't original.
I really feel it was released at the wrong time because it was in between other games that are so similar to it. And I think if it came out maybe now, it probably would have fared a little bit better. But
probably there isn't a game like that right now.
Exactly. So, but that Days Gone, definitely worth playing. A game I played a little bit of because it hit Game Pass yesterday it's a game I've wanted to play for a while. Power Wash Simulator.
Yeah, I want to play that too.
It is literally just what you think it is. You just run around power washing just everything. The thing that's crazy about it, I didn't know because I didn't know too much about it other than what you do is what you do in the game. It has up to 6 player co-op online.
That's crazy.
6 players, which is crazy.
Just power washing shit together.
Yeah. So I haven't tried co-op yet. The thing that's cool on Game Pass, it's a play anywhere game. So you can play on PC, you can play on your Xbox. It carries everything over. You can play, like I could be playing on Xbox, somebody else could be playing on PC. It doesn't matter. So that part of it's really cool. It's also, I'll say, like, as I've played, I'm still on the first technical level because I did like the tutorial, which is just literally you power wash your van that you drive around.
I've seen a video of that. Yeah.
So the first level, like I'm still playing it because it is taking forever. So it kind of seems like they almost want you to play with more than one person. because there's a lot to clean up. But it's fun. It's just a fun, chill game. But at the same time, and this is what I would compare it to, it's like if you ever played House Flipper and you do painting, I almost look at it the same way. It's like one part of House Flipper.
Right.
But it's done really, really well. So if you've never played House Flipper, I recommend, and that's on Game Pass 2 now. I highly recommend that. So I played a little more Diablo 2 remaster. Not much more to say there. It's Diablo. And then I bought a couple games. So Amazon had their Prime sale, Prime 2 days of shit or whatever. I bought 2 games on it and a guitar, but we're not going to talk about that part. But I bought Elix 2 for $20, which is I know it's probably not a good game. I've never played either of them, and I have the first one. I got it digitally a long time ago, so I actually want to play it now, so I'm probably going to play the first one soon. And then, what was the other game? I got 2 games. I'm trying to remember what the other one was. It was also a really, really good deal. And I know exactly what it was. We talked about it last week, 13.
I was about to say, didn't you say that?
13 hit $15.
You tried to get me to do it, and I just I can't.
And I said, well, my asking price was $20.15. I was like, I'll check it out. I kind of almost want to install it and try it now just to see for myself how bad it is.
I would
before this patch. So I'm probably going to do that in the next week, and I just need to see it. I just need to see the train wreck. So, last thing I'll say, just more Vampire Survivors. It continues to be excellent. They updated the game. They actually put like a final boss in it now because it's still technically an early access game. So I think it's on version like 0.8. So obviously it's getting close to hitting that 1.0 full release. But
nice.
Still playing that. It's a great, especially like I said with that Backbone. It's a great remote game. Yeah, I play it that way almost exclusively now. So. Just still playing that. So that is pretty much it for me. So I'll kick it over to you, Dan, because it sounds like you made a big decision this past 2 weeks too.
I did. Like, I'll preface with saying, like, I've played a lot the major games. I played a lot more of. I finally finished, Dead or Alive 5's Platinum, so that's done. That was just boosting, like private matches,
online matches. Yeah,
which is fine. And I really like that version compared to 6, essentially, since I've played both of them so recently. And it just further hammered more in that, like, man, we're just not going to get to 7. I don't think we are. I think
I really don't think so.
If we do get another one, it's probably not for a while. And I have a feeling it might just be the kind of thing where, like, we get Dead or Alive. You know what I mean?
Like a reboot.
I think it's time to probably start over.
You can probably get away with
PlayStation 1 game, so it's probably time to start over, and that's fine.
I can see that.
And cut the roster back because it started to get too big.
But
so I finished that. I've been playing a lot more Persona 5 Strikers. I'm getting very close. I think I have like one more quote unquote like jail thing to do, and then I'm just doing like clean up stuff, like level up stuff.
Okay.
I spent some time doing not technically an exploit, but just something you can repeat over and over again to kind of build up your bond group thing, because you need that for certain skills. And this is apparently the fastest way to do it, which is to just zone in and out of one thing over and over and over again for hours and hours and hours. Otherwise, you have to grind fights forever. So I was like, I'll just do that. But I'm pretty close to that. And then the big decision I did is I finally decided to just upgrade the PlayStation Plus thing for my final time here for $20 to get through.
Hey, you can play the Kitty Cat game too next week.
Well, and that's the thing is like that was a big part of it. Like they showed more, and I really want to play that game.
That's what sold me.
That was enough, and then plus I wanted to check out I wanted to just see like how well the PS3 stuff works, and I wanted to play some other games here and there. So like the first thing I played, because I've been on that like Lego kick for a while, is I went back and I played Lego Indiana Jones 2 for PS3 because that has trophies.
Like do the streaming thing or whatever.
Do the streaming thing, and just my experiences with the streaming thing, like everything, all my game systems are hardwired. Like even my TV is hardwired.
So is mine.
It's weird and it doesn't work great. That was it's very slow. Like it feels like it just feels laggy. And this is for a PS3 Lego game, man. Like it shouldn't feel like this. It doesn't look any better. It looks bad. Like it looks,
Jesus,
it looks like a blurry version of the PS3 game.
It does.
Does that make sense? Like it's just
that's.
not,
and maybe it was my fault for trying a fighting game first because that's what I did.
And
but
I part of me
like
really wanted to try
to
the DOA 5 PS3 version. But after playing this, like Lego Indie streaming,
no,
I can't. There's no way. Like
I don't blame
there's
you.
no way it's good. The interface of like how it works is also weird because
it is, yeah.
Like you're kind of running. It's not even like you are, but like you're kind of running an emulator like on top of it. And then there's a way to like go into like a fake PS3 if you like toggle it on, which is weird because I got a trophy in the game, but it doesn't automatically sync it to your PlayStation Network account.
Well, because remember, I think the PS3 you always had to sync your trophies, right?
Yeah. So I was trying to figure out how to sync it because it wouldn't even appear in the list that I got the trophy, and it turns out you have to go into like the virtual PS3 menu, wait for everything to load, pick the game, and then sync it from in there. And then it syncs. It's weird.
See, and this is now why I still say it's even more baffling. Why would you put a game like Brink on that service?
I don't know. I don't even understand how well
that for.
If that game was
or that
essentially
Castlevania
online
multiplayer game.
Yeah, those games were online in the first place, and I don't know how those. I mean, maybe part of me should try it out just to see. We should probably play the Castlevania thing just to see.
Maybe try it, yeah, because I just want to see how bad it runs.
It's weird because it really doesn't feel like I'm streaming it.
Yeah,
like it's choppy and like I've only played a couple levels of Lego Indie thing, and I'm like, man, it really makes me want to just get out of PS3 and hook up a PS3 and do it that way instead. So like it's the PS3 stuff really isn't. It's not something. Great. It's not a feature for me. Yeah, it's just I know what it is now, and it's not good.
Yeah, I agree, and that was my part of the service too.
Kind of, but yeah, anything online, I can't imagine.
But like, even if you cut that part of the service out, there's so much PS4 stuff. Like it's overwhelming.
Yeah, but again, I went through the list and everything, and I'm like, oh, there's a couple things here and there I want to try. So like, just stuff I never played, or stuff that was like a downloadable game that I never really wanted to like pay the price for. So like I played that Danger Zone game, which is basically like just the crash mode of a Burnout game.
Okay, I know.
But really stripped down. It's kind of sad because I feel like if that game had just even a little bit more effort in it, it would have been better. But it's like all of like you're not even like racing or crashing in like real locations. It's all like a simulator room, and you can fall off the track. And if you fall off the track, you automatically lose. And like it's just, I don't know. It almost feels like a tech demo for a part of a game they already made 8 years ago.
That's a good way to describe it.
Weird.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. Like it's kind of thing where I'll probably do all the crashes once and be done. Another weird game I wanted to try just because I wanted to see how it worked on there was, so Marvel Puzzle Quest is like this
is the one I was most interested in to tell me about.
It's a mobile game, which is just like a match 3 kind of a thing. And there is kind of like a light story to it on your phone. I played that for a long time and I kind of got off of it a couple of years ago.
Sure.
But I was like, all right, they made a console version. Let's see what it's like. It is the bare minimum. It's like, it is literally like pick a story level, pick your heroes, and then play the match 3 thing. And that functions the same, but like there's not even like a spot in the menu to like check your heroes or like level them up.
That's weird.
Obviously it's a mobile game, so it's built on microtransactions and you buying stuff that doesn't exist, which is weird.
That doesn't exist in the console version?
Which is probably, you think that's a good thing, but it changes kind of like how the game works where like characters upgrade by you getting like comics for them. But it's entirely random in this, and it's basically just every level you beat, you get one. But but it's random, so it's like it might not be for any of the 3 people I care about. They only level up individually, so like you kind of pick your team of 3 at the start, and that's your team. If you start putting in other people, they're way underleveled. It's weird that it exists for a console, just in the way that it is. Like
it's really weird because I think it's only there. I don't think it's on the Xbox or
it was only on this. Yeah, and it's it's bizarre. I've played other like match 3 type things on console before. Like remember when Bejeweled became like a thing?
Oh hell yeah!
And those were fine. Those were fine on console.
360.
This just seems like it's a toned down version of a mobile game, which begs the question like why does it even exist? I don't know. And then the last thing I played on there, just to play a game I knew I liked, was I played some Lumines, or I'm still playing that. I love that series. Ever since the PSP, I love that series.
I've never played any of those, but I have whatever the Game Pass one is installed on my Xbox.
Yeah, I think that's the same one. I think it's remastered, which is what this one is. They're just so good. I mean, you're a music guy. You'd probably like it.
Is that what it is? It's like
it's a music Tetris, or music Puyo Puyo is a better way to describe it.
Oh, okay.
Because you have to make squares of like falling pieces, and each piece that falls is a square. It's like a 2x2 square, and it's either one color or the other. And you kind of have to just stack them. But as you stack them, a line goes across the screen in time with the music, and it like erases them, and stuff falls and all that kind of stuff. So and there's a lot of different ways to play it. Like there's survival. They have time attack. They have make a pattern like of the squares. So like make one that looks like a horse. You have to kind of get the right pieces and tilt them a certain way. But you have to be careful that in doing it, parts of the screen don't erase, because then it'll ruin it.
Okay.
But they're actually not that bad. But that's a great game. It's just super chill. Like you can just play through like the endless, and as you play, when you hit certain like milestones, the music changes and the speed changes, and the speed changes.
Okay.
And the colors change and stuff. So some of them are easier to see than others. Some of them are a lot faster than others, and you just die when you.
Is it licensed music or like?
No, it's like
Okay.
It's music just made ambient for the game. Yeah, techno. I don't want to say. Yeah, not even. I more like synthwave like type stuff where it's just like
chill music in the background.
Yeah. Okay. And it's you never feel. I don't ever feel anxiety playing that game like you do with a game like Tetris or something. It's just it's chill. And then you lose
Tetris effects. That music can really get rampant.
Yeah. Some of the songs are definitely better than others, but they have a cool thing where like you play through, you unlock them, and then you can play a mode where you just pick the songs you like, and that can
that's
loop
cool.
And stuff. Okay. Yeah, so you can just kind of hang out and play. Right. That's a great game.
See, now you have something I'll try this week.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. And then I'm gonna start digging through more of the Plus catalog stuff and just trying to find stuff. I haven't played any PS1 trophy games yet, but I do want to do all those.
Okay.
I know you played Siphon Filter. I want to do that.
I mean, all I did with Siphon Filter was what I wanted to do, which was taser someone until they light on fire.
Yeah. So that's probably the first PS1 of the games of those I'll try. But I want to play Ape Escape and all that stuff over again.
Yeah, I have that installed, and I don't think I ever played actually sat down and played Ape Escape when it originally came out. I think I played a demo of it.
I didn't have a PS1. I didn't have a PS1 when it came out, so I just never came up. And then by the time I got a PS2, it's just I wasn't interested in Ape Escape at the time, but I'd like to go back.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Okay. All right, Matt, what have you been playing?
So I'm still tackling Sniper Elite 5. I know it seems like I've been playing this game forever because I have. And I keep getting myself stuck in positions that take me at least an hour to get myself out of,
Yeah.
I make a lot of noise and then I regret my decision. But then I'm like, you know what? I'm here. We're just going to keep pushing through.
Yeah.
I played a little more Serial Cleaner. I still enjoy it. It's still fun. But I went to the Southeast Game Exchange last weekend and found a couple of indie Switch games from the actual distributor, the people who actually make developers. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So they talked me into it and they were hyping them up and they weren't really bad. They were $40. I was like, you know what? That's really not bad for the game itself. And it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I bought 2 games from them. And I started playing one just because the way the guy described it was pretty cool. So it's I haven't gotten into the story of it, but the way he said it, it's called Super Blood Hockey. So for me, it's kind of like Blades of Steel, except more violent. It's really what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I used to play a lot of Blades of Steel. Yeah.
Let me tell you. So I was playing this exhibition match today, and so in Blades of Steel, you would get into a fight. It'd be 1-on-1. Mm-hmm. When they get into a fight, it's the whole fucking team, and everybody's just fucking running around. Okay. So one of my people got beat up so bad, dude was seizuring on the ice for a good minute.
Okay.
The halftime broke, the Zamboni came out, the dude was still seizuring on the ice. I was like, is this dude ever gonna get up? What the fuck's wrong with him? And awesome. It's awesome. It is a lot of fun, but the way they
Okay.
explained it is when you go into like the story mode, it's more like you're the owner of the team. And
Okay.
so like you have to earn money to buy players, and like you
Okay.
can sell like an organ to get
Okay.
money.
Oh, all right.
And like you can
Okay.
like invest in like hardcore like prisoners and shit like that, like hire like,
Okay.
thugs and stuff. So I'm gonna try to dive into that part of it this weekend and this week if I can. Um, but what I've played of it, the
Sounds
two
awesome.
exhibition matches I've played are pretty fun. So I was really, and it was for $40. So I was like, you know what? It's not bad. I can deal with that. It's not too bad. Um, but if you are in the South area, the South Carolina area, I do recommend going
Mhm.
to the Southeast Game Exchange at least once because it is an experience. Um, it was really busy this year than it was last year, which is really cool to see them growing. And there was a whole bunch of stuff, but it was all repeated. So it's like,
Okay.
like every booth kind of had like the same shit, but it was
Yeah.
just cool to see like a bunch of shit sometimes. Um, and then just some of the prices on some of that was just like insane. But other than that, that's all I'm working on right now. I'm hoping to finish out Sniper Elite this weekend and then maybe Serial Cleaner. And then I'm going to try and jump back into Tunic because I really like that game and I really
Yeah.
want
I
to
still on
finish it
my
out.
list to play before the end of the
Yeah,
year.
it is a lot. I mean, I enjoyed it. I just got to this big boss and it frustrated me and I was like, I got to put this down before I end up throwing this controller across the room. So that's it for me.
All right. Well, I mean, and the thing I'd say too about the Southeast Game Exchange is like Dan and I, we usually go to the Midwest Gaming Classic. That's what it's
Yeah,
called, right?
we've been
Yeah.
MGC. I've been a
But like
couple
we've been
times.
to
Yeah.
that since it grew from like being a couple tents in front of a hotel to now it's in a convention center.
I almost
So
forgot that we
awesome.
went to like that version of it where it was literally like tents in a
yeah,
parking lot.
it was crazy because then I remember we went to that for a very different specific reason at the time,
Well, that was
and then it was
part
like
of it.
that was part of it. But then the very next year, I remember you telling me like, I want to go, but now it's in this convention center, and they have this like history of gaming thing too, which is really cool. And that what they'll do is like and you can play it's different games that are on there, but they literally have a system from every single era, like Atari all the way through current stuff, and you can just walk up and play like whatever's on it. And then they also have a huge, which is the coolest thing to me, is the pinball wall, which they just have a ton of pinball machines. I mean, any one of the classic ones you can think of, up to some of these modern ones.
Yeah,
so
they have all
that
the
part of
modern
it's
like
really
digital
cool.
table things. Like, yeah.
But then other than that, I mean, it's your normal convention. Like you have different tables selling stuff. And we've always like, I'd say every year that we've gone, I know you've got more than I have, but like we've always gotten pretty good deals and found
Yeah,
something.
Yeah, for
I
the
can
most
say
part.
that. I can say for the most part, it's about the same. Um, one of the best deals I found was it was this new booth this year, and the guy was selling shit in like big Ziploc bags. So he was like selling like
Sure.
bundles, which was pretty cool. And I picked up a PSP from him, and like I want to say like 10, 11 games and a couple of
Okay.
like movies. But I got that for
The UMD
125.
movies?
Yeah.
It's not bad though.
And I was like, that's not like a horrible price. And
Mm-mm.
the last PSP I got, I'm trying to flip. So I was looking for one to keep in my personal collection anyway.
Sure.
So I was
That's pretty cool.
yeah, let me go ahead and snag this. My wife found it. She's been on the fly about picking up stuff whenever she sees it because she knows I'm just
Sure.
trying to expand more. But um I to be honest with you, I really like going to these conventions for the art and some of the stuff that the people
Yeah.
make. Because
Okay.
like
Yeah, no.
there was a guy there that made like a bunch of like coasters. They were like stone coasters. They were pretty dope.
Mm,
And people making dice and of course all the artwork and stuff. So I mean, I enjoy going to those kind of things for that. That's really why I like
that's
going
the
to them.
reason why my girlfriend likes to go, because she likes to look for like I think the last year we went, she got some bumper stickers of the Cuphead characters because she loves
you get
Cuphead.
that.
yeah.
You've got
And like
posters.
she got a wallet there, I think. And yeah, we got, remember those like diorama things that are like 3D, but they're like the 16-bit era They have those. Like, there's always a booth that has those. Those are pretty cool too. So like, it's not just like what it used to be, which is like maybe a little bit above a flea market setting of just like like tables of people selling shit. Like, they have a lot more stuff now. So, but those are always cool. I'm hoping to still go. We have an all night flea market in August that I'm hoping. I've always gotten good deals because it like that is the one place I'll say, like, people do not whip out their phones and try to do any price comparisons at the all night flea market. They just want to fucking sell what they have. So I've always gotten good deals at that. So I'm hoping that's the case this year because I have not gone since the pandemic started. So I'm really hoping this year that hasn't changed.
That's the one thing about the places like that I can't stand is when people do pull out their phones and they want to scan it right then and there. I'm like, you should have done this shit prior to coming, man. Like,
that happened to me the last time I was there, where this guy had a whole bunch of like box like Game Boy games and stuff, and he had a couple Spider-Man games, and nothing is priced. And I looked at him and I was like, what do you want for these two? And then he, oh, hang on a minute, takes out his phone, starts tapping away, looking on eBay. You already know it's gonna be a problem. And then it's just and then luckily he came back with like a decent number, and then I talked it down because I was scared because I got both of them. But it was still like, you knew you were coming here, man. Like,
why not look up all this shit?
Take an hour the day before, and just make a product. Like, sometimes I go to a table, they got a price sheet. All right, that's fine. At least there's something.
I don't have a problem with that because they've done the work ahead of time. They're not going to be like, well, let me get on my phone. Like,
I feel like that's hella lazy on your part. It makes me not want to spend money. As if I walk up to you and I'm like, hey man, how much for this game?
Well,
and
because you're never the only person asking. There's always other people digging and asking and all this stuff. I'm like, so that kind of stuff's frustrating. But I mean, I didn't go to the last MGC just because I had just been to the one that was a couple months before. But when it rolls around again next year, we're definitely going.
For sure.
Nice.
For sure. All right. Well, we'll jump into the news because there's a lot of news. There's one news article that I'm purposely going to save for the email section because we got a bunch of emails on it. I only took one of them, but we'll save that one for that section. But we'll just start from the top of what I have here. God of War, as we've discussed a couple times on this podcast. It was like the day after we recorded, I think, or maybe a couple days after.
It was like
God of War Ragnarok got its release date with a 30-second trailer. I don't know why they held this. It's weird. November 9th.
No celebration about it. No nothing.
No.
It really felt
state
like
of play,
it was
like 15-minute.
It really felt like it was kind of a response to like them getting harassed over and over again.
It has to have been,
and they were finally just like, "Fuck it, just tell them something, anything. Who cares?"
I mean, at the same time, like, it's a sequel to a game that was pretty much received universal acclaim when it came out, like the reboot of it, and like this. Yeah. I feel like you don't have to show much of it to get people to be excited.
You didn't have to show anything. I mean, people are going to buy no matter what.
It just it seems like a strange, like, we omitted it from a couple state of plays and the most recent like E3, not E3 stuff, and then now they got directly harassed. Here's 30 seconds. It's out November 9th. So I don't know. The bigger one I want to talk about because I think it looks fucking cool.
Well, they're just
Skull and Bones.
The God of War thing, to go back really quick. The only other thing about it that sucks is like that's first off, they're doing those awful like collector's editions they do where
those
are
terrible.
Insanely expensive with no game disc. Mm-hmm. And then they're already all scalped and on eBay for $800. Mm-hmm. And then isn't this the first game where it's finally confirmed, like, you got to pay $10? We're done.
You have to pay that $10. Yeah. Yep. So Horizon was the last one.
No more 4 or 5
they did the
stuff.
free upgrade.
Yep.
So, like, if you want to go out there and buy a PS4 copy, do not expect it to get a free upgrade to the PS5.
$10 to upgrade to a digital PS5. Yeah.
So, which means I actually probably will buy a physical copy of that because I did a digital for Horizon, but I think I actually want to put that on the shelf. So
I think a physical.
Yeah,
I think so at this point since I have to pay $70. Skull and Bones. So we've joked about it. I think a couple weeks ago, then it was rumored like they were gonna reveal that game. Also comes out in November. I think it's the day before God of War. If I remember, it's like the November 8th.
Yep.
It looks good. That's what I'll say. I think it looks good. It looks like a real game, first of all. It doesn't like whatever they showed years ago, which was like supposedly this like hybrid multiplayer thing. It's not that. It's an actual pirate game.
I'm blown away that like they were fine. Like they haven't shown anything, and then all of a sudden it's like, here it is. It comes out in November. Like what?
And I mean, again, the perfect year to put this game out because like it's pretty dry this year. I mean, God of War is awesome that it's coming out, but like
they're different
it's
enough.
Dry everywhere else. Yeah,
it doesn't matter. Like
and like I'll always take a pirate game because they don't make enough of those, and it's an interesting setting.
They don't have an Assassin's Creed game, so this is it, quote unquote.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, like this is meant to be like it was a spin-off of that kind of thing where they pulled that out of the
combat game. Exactly, but again, the focus of it like 6-7 years ago when they originally announced that game, it was a combat multiplayer focused thing. That's not what this game is now.
Right, but the only thing about this game is like it looks cool and stuff, but it's like, what's the point of the game?
I mean, it just seems like a single player adventure to me.
Right, but like they didn't.
It seems like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I don't know.
It just seems
maybe
like
it's just to sing shanties and get buried treasure.
But there already is a game that does that, and it arguably
has a lot of players,
known quantity, which has been getting better. So
exactly,
it's weird. Like obviously they're trying to play this off as like the realistic one, but
this I don't know. This is one where I watched it. I showed my girlfriend the trailer because she likes pirate stuff. She thinks it looks cool too, and I told her, I was like, I'm probably actually going to get this when it comes out because I think it actually looks interesting.
Right,
way more than like I'll say that like a couple weeks ago I would have never said, hey man, Skull and Bones.
Like, man, I'm in for Skull and Bones day one.
So the other big release came out with another trailer. Kind of weird that this wasn't at that third party Nintendo Direct, but Bayonetta 3 finally after 5 years has a release date.
Here's a video, it comes out in a couple months. You're like, what is happening?
To be fair, this was actually a full trailer that kind of told the story, although I couldn't tell you what the story is at this point. But I don't know. It looks good, and I'll say like for a Switch game only being on the Switch, like I went into watching the trailer thinking it was going to kind of look ugly because it's on outdated hardware. It actually looks okay.
It looks good.
So yeah. Like it makes me want to play 2 now because I played like maybe an hour of 2.
I know you're going to play it on family friendly mode too. So.
Sure. Is that a mode in that game?
There's a mode in that game which takes out all the
family friendly
stuff. It's called Naive Angel mode. Naive Angel. It takes out all the implied like sexual content and stuff.
I kind of want somebody will stream it that way just to see what it's like.
Well, I mean, it's just her with more clothes. Like that's that's all it is.
Yeah, but they would also have to edit her dialogue and stuff. So like, I wonder.
I don't know if they're going. I don't know if they care that much.
You don't think it's going that far?
No, because it's still an M-rated game, but they're just toning down the nudity type stuff.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. You can tell me about what are the PlayStation Plus games that are being added in July for the premium thing, other than Stray, which we talked about.
Right. So this list is just. It's kind of dumb because some of it you're like, why wasn't it here in the first place?
All right.
Like they're touting these big things. Like obviously Stray is like the main one, but then like Marvel's Avengers. Oh wow, really? And then which is somehow still alive and kicking. And
because didn't they just put like a Thor thing in there?
Female
Lady
Thor,
Thor's
they added
in it, right?
Lady Thor, and then they accidentally got revealed on some live stream that She-Hulk is going to be a character in it too. Somebody was doing like a Twitch stream and he accidentally mentioned it while like a developer of the game was in the chat. And they're like, no, you can't talk about that. But
I think I saw today too, they're talking about Bucky as well.
But the thing is like all of these characters they're adding are copies of existing characters. These aren't new characters.
Yeah, like I would imagine Lady Thor plays like Thor. Yeah.
Another Hulk. A guy who was once Captain America. Like they're just they're all copies. So it's more like premium skins, I guess.
That's what
that makes sense.
That.
Yeah.
They're gonna have different like movesets and stuff too, but they can't be too different. The other things they added, like Final Fantasy VII Remake. Wow, you mean that game they gave out for Plus for free? Like they are. To be fair, they are adding the PS5 version of it, but it's
what though? That confirms what we talked though, because that came out a year ago exactly, like June of 2021, the PS5 version.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes sense,
right?
Okay.
Well, and it's a game that's essentially run its course now because they're focusing on the next projects.
Okay.
And then they're adding basically like every Assassin's Creed game possible. Wow. Because they added the Ubisoft stuff, like, oh boy. But it's just, again, it's like every, it's 2, Brotherhood, Revelations, 4, not 3 though, not 3.
That's weird.
Rogue Remastered, Unity that nobody needs to play. Saints Row 4, Saints Row Get Out of Hell, fine. And then just like some other random stuff like Ice Age and Jumanji and stuff like that.
Okay.
But that's
Paw Patrol?
Paw Patrol, you're right. I'm sorry.
Man,
Paw Patrol will be there.
Now that makes me want to upgrade to premium now.
Yeah, and then they're adding Loco Roco for PSP. It's like, but like that's the big July announcement. Like, okay, so it's 7 Assassin's Creed games, Marvel's Avengers, and a Final Fantasy game they gave you for free already.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a start, but you need to add better stuff for it to continue to grow. Because as of right now, I'm going to play through what I can, and I'm not re-upping it when it's over.
Hey man, you got East 9 on there.
But I'll probably blow through that before I get to the.
I was gonna say, you can easily get that done before whatever, like November.
Yeah, so. I don't need to worry about that.
Let's see. This one I thought was interesting because this happened like maybe a year ago. Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 to be relisted on digital storefronts. So like Metal Gear Solid. So on the 360, there was the Metal Gear Solid. It was on PS3 as well, but the 360 has a backwards compatible version of it. Was like the Metal Gear Solid HD collection, which was Metal Gear Solid 2, 3, and Peace Walker. For whatever reason, like a year ago, they delisted the 2 and 3 because they were on one disc and then Peace Walker's on the other. Peace Walker's never been delisted. But for the 30, they're touting this as for the 35th anniversary of the Metal Gear franchise. They're gonna give this back to people. So I don't know. I just wanted to mention it because
some people think it coming back is going to lead to it getting put on Plus.
I can see
Plus
it.
Premium things, which is fine. I mean, that's a game that probably should be on there, right?
It should be. That's a huge PlayStation franchise.
They're PlayStation franchises, yeah.
So I could totally see it. The Evil Dead game, I actually haven't checked this out yet. I meant to before we recorded, but I just didn't have a chance. It just got updated. It's called the Army of Darkness update. So they added like the castle. I think they added a new map, which is the castle from Army of Darkness with some characters and stuff from it. But I think the thing that's cool is it has now a slower paced exploration mode, which sounds interesting. So that is something I am going to check out for our next podcast. I did not have a chance. I totally forgot about it. This one I can go through briefly, but Halo Infinite's campaign co-op beta
still
it is out as of today. It came out today.
Like, come on.
But here's the thing. It was promised a week ago. Last week came. They said nothing about it. People complained and bitched on the internet. They ignored it. And then they came out and said, well, we're going to do a live stream next week on Thursday, which was yesterday at the time of our recording. And they did that. And then they announced, okay, tomorrow it's out. Again, it's still in beta mode. I don't know if you've seen like I saw a screenshot of like the ring. So how big the area is that you and your co-op partner can be in. It's very fucking small.
Awesome.
So like, I mean, I will say like the map of Halo Infinite's world is pretty large, but like how many open world games have we played where you can be in a pretty far distance at this point?
Hey, Mercenaries 2, you can be pretty far on Xbox.
Exactly. So I don't know. I just wanted to highlight it because once again, like they've dropped the ball on that.
This is a game that just it should not be out yet. It really shouldn't be.
It really should. It really needed another year.
Minimum.
I think
minimum.
It probably could have launched this fall with co-op in it, with a lot more maps than it has, and I think it would have been a lot better.
Received better and not a train wreck.
Yeah. And maybe they would have had a year to rehaul like the leveling up system because that's really bad too for multiplayer.
Hot fucking garbage.
We talked about this last podcast. My prediction came true a lot sooner than I thought it was. Whoa, excuse me. Skate 4 is officially just called Skate. It will be a free to play and have cross play and cross progression.
Yeah,
I kind of call this. It makes sense because
it doesn't need to be a
serialized.
It doesn't need to be a serialized like
it doesn't
every year or 2 years franchise anymore. It's not what games are anymore for the most part.
It is. It is one city. Forgive me, I don't remember what the name of the city is. It had a very weird name, but it's one city they're going to keep adding to.
Right.
So they're going to keep adding areas to it over the years and stuff. But this makes sense. Like, I mean, you can say what you want about monetization, but like, I don't think EA is never going to release a purely single player, or like even this game would have multiplayer, but they're not going to release that type of game in 2022 because for them it doesn't make sense.
Right.
This makes sense for them. So, interesting. Like I thought it would take a little bit longer until we get to that point. The only other thing I'll say is they are calling it right now. It is in pre alpha, and that made me laugh. It's probably, I would say, like 2025. That's my prediction.
But the thing is like it's going to be that kind of thing where next year here's a pre-alpha, you guys can screw around. And
they're just going to build off of it
and keep building it. Like, I mean, that's a model that games do now. I mean, look at a lot of games release unfinished versions and just keep building it, whatever.
Exactly.
Especially if it's free to play, you're allowed to do that. Like, nobody cares.
Exactly. Another one, I think this literally was released the day after we recorded our last podcast. They put up a couple trailers for different games. I forget what the company was that had like a not E3 type direct. The RoboCop game, which I've known has been in development for a while. It looks fucking good.
Come on.
It's just RoboCop being RoboCop, though.
Yeah, but which RoboCop?
Good. And it has Peter Weller, and it has his voice. And they make a big point in the trailer. So I don't know. I've always loved RoboCop, especially that original movie. I want to play this game. The minute I saw that, I was sold. It also looks as violent as that movie was. So, and that movie still to this day, I think is one of the most violent movies I've ever seen. So, another one I want to point out, because I don't really pay attention to the NPD very often. Maybe we should talk about it more on the podcast, but I only put this in there because I thought it was interesting. Like, I guess Elden Ring has been at the top #1 slots pretty much since it came out, and it is now one of the best games in best-selling games in U.S. history on the NPD. Like, it's really solid. Like, damn, that game like the Souls franchise has gone from like being a niche thing to like everybody is playing it now, which I think is really, really cool. So more and more people are trying that type of game now than ever have. But yeah, I'm glad to see that type of game.
Your boy Skyrim.
I'm glad to see that type of game be the top thing than just Madden whatever this year or that. Like, it's an actual interesting game, and it's a full game. So, last thing I'll put on here. I don't know how much we need to discuss on this. I mean, we already just talked about EA not releasing a non-microtransaction game. All right, former EA CEO. Let's see here, John. Oh my God, I can't pronounce this dude's name.
Richitiello or something.
Richitiello. Okay, let's just say the former EA CEO, John. We'll just call him John. Made a pretty spicy comment this past week. I guess that's what we'll say. Well, those who avoid implementing monetization early in on the creative process are some of the most beautiful and pure brilliant people. They are also some of the biggest fucking idiots. Those are his words, words. I mean, that's where gaming kind of is today, though.
Well, especially the mobile stuff. Like, that's the entire point, is to monetize.
Exactly.
Look at Skate. Like, the whole point, Skate's gonna be free to play, right?
Exactly.
It has to make money somehow.
It has to,
to be fair with like Skate, they said like it's not going to be pay to win because I mean it's Skate. How could you pay to win? But but like no paid for loot boxes. So doesn't mean you can't buy cosmetics. Doesn't mean you can't buy other things or whatever. But like free to play games have to make money somehow, or they wouldn't exist.
They have to. Or they don't exactly. So
how do you think all these mobile games are still around? They just churn out ads and they get the one guy who spends $10,000 a week on Supercard on his stream but he's not the one paying for it. The people watching his stream are the one paying for it.
Absolutely.
So like That's just
there are people that do that with FIFA as well. With the
Diablo. Look at what Diablo Immortal did. You had streamers, but you had streamers paying $10,000 to try to unlock stuff in that game because the whole point of the stream was watch me spend $10,000. Like the whole point of these games are exposure and ads and all that kind of stuff. So,
well, and I think the thing I'll say, at least with Skate,
say it the best way, but
no, it wasn't said the best way, but like at the same time, I'd say like he isn't wrong either. Like that's
he's not completely wrong. Like he's not completely wrong. Clearly an idiot, but
yeah, for sure.
And probably somebody who shouldn't be in charge of Unity.
No, probably not. The other thing I'll say, like with Skate, because to circle back around to that, is they did come out and say like there would be no pay to win or anything like that. I think that's where it gets to the point where it becomes a frustration when free to play games do shit like that.
Like Diablo.
When it's just when it's just like cosmetics and stuff, who cares?
Yeah, that's up to you to buy it or not buy it.
And I guarantee you, Skate, it's going to be like, what do you want on your board? What do you want your character to look like?
Do you want a no FX sticker?
You want do you want a no FX sticker? Do you want some sweet DC shoes?
Speaking of cosmetics and free game, I don't know if you guys play Fall Guys, but
I don't.
Apparently, okay. So apparently they're releasing a WWE cosmetic pack for Fall Guys.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it's got the Undertaker and Xavier Woods and Asuka in it.
That makes sense.
And I was like, okay, you know what? That might be one game I actually pay cosmetics for.
Matt's getting his debit card out.
There you go.
I am. I have no choice.
There you go. All right, so emails this week. One thing I'll say, for now, we're just going to throw them in with the emails. If we start to get a lot of these, then we'll make it its own section. But 2 weeks ago, we brought up the idea, give us your game recommendations. We actually got 2 of those this week. So for now, I'm just going to keep those as part of the emails. Like I said, if we get a lot, we'll make it. Yeah,
we might have to bump it into its own thing.
But that is part of the emails. We'll go through the emails right now. And that's going to lead me to that news article that we left aside, which is...
Start there.
We'll start there, which is GameStop this past week, or actually it might have been 2 weeks ago now. They laid off 20% of their corporate staff as they still push into the NFT territory.
Yeah. So read the email.
Let you
read the email.
I will read the email and then we'll talk about it. So let's see here. Boop, boop, boo. All right. This came from Gary from Cincinnati, Ohio. Hi, guys. With the recent announcement that GameStop laid off 20% of their corporate staff and they are still getting the NFTs, what are your thoughts on this? I will say before we continue, we got like 6 emails about this.
I'm sure.
I just picked one of them, but trust me, I read all of your emails about this. That's why I only picked one. So when I read this one, it's like I read all of your emails about this.
We read all emails for sure.
We do
when they come in. So,
Dan, why don't you take it away?
All right. So this is just one of those stories where you read it and you go, yeah, of course. I mean, sure. It must be a new year because it's a new dumbass GameStop decision. Because
it is
but the thing about the corporate stuff on the first part, like the firing everybody, obviously the CEO guy, well, I'm gone. And then now we're going to promote this other person as CFO. So it's such a revolving door. I can't keep these people straight anymore. The only person I even know of, off the top of my head, is the Chewy.com guy, because he's the one who's been ruining everything.
Yeah.
This Playboy guy who just bought up a shitload of stock, and now GameStop is his literal toy, and he just does whatever he wants.
Yeah.
But firing 20% of corporate, honestly, good. 20% of those people
I
probably didn't need to work there and did nothing. And then you've got, I was scrolling through LinkedIn because I still have connections on there from higher up people who don't work there anymore, but they're connecting to other people. And it's just the corporate spin level of LinkedIn is insane. All these people are thanks so much for reaching out to me. And I can't believe I lost my job after 18 years at GameStop. And if you're looking for a video producer and stuff, it's I get that you lost your job at GameStop, man. And it sucks. It does. Yeah. But you had to see this coming, because I guarantee you And next year, 20% more people are fired, and we've got another CFO because it's all this company does. If you don't agree with Chewy.com and his little buddies, you're out, and they'll move on to somebody else. And unfortunately, because you weren't part of the old guard before he took over, you're not going to get the fat $4 million payday like that one guy got
for sure
for doing nothing. But this crypto stuff, man, it is. I don't understand what
this
the hell
to me
they're
is
doing.
just another thing of like GameStop getting into the latest fad a year too late.
No,
exactly.
Yeah.
Because like
way too late.
It's just too like who's buying NFTs at GameStop? And then like I don't have it pulled up, and I'm not going to go digging for it right now. But like if you looked at like how much money they were actually taking, because they take something like 2.5% of the stuff that's on there. The first day they made like 10 grand. Oh good. Oh boy. NFTs. You know how much that is? That's like 3 stores worth of profit.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Exactly.
NFTs are real taking off. But like who in their right mind is going to buy an NFT through GameStop and GameStop's wallet stuff for $76,000?
Who is buying NFTs anymore?
I don't know, because
I want to know.
I don't know who these are for anymore. Like I get like when last year when the crypto boom happened and the GameStop boom happened and all this stuff, like people went nuts. And all of a sudden everybody thought NFTs were the future, Ethereum was the future, all these other coins were the future, Doge was the future, all this stuff. And it has all plummeted, and it just keeps getting worse. Like Bitcoin is tanking.
Yeah.
Like will it stabilize and go back up again? Of course it will, because you know what? It's just the stock market for fake money. That's all it is.
Yeah,
it is.
But like this, to fire people, and like they laid off people at Game Informer. How many people does the Game Informer have left? Like 4?
I'm amazed Game Informer is still like the only reason they're still printing magazines is because of GameStop.
Right.
So but I'm amazed it isn't just fully shut down.
It's crazy because remember when they first started saying when we were selling cards, like they can get physical or digital magazines, and they really wanted you to push digital because it was cheaper, because they wouldn't have to print the magazine and all that kind of stuff. It's like we talked about it at the time, which would have been 5 years ago at this point, maybe longer. We talked about it. Like, if this is what they want, why don't they just say it's digital now?
Exactly.
Like wouldn't that help cut costs? By not having to print something and ship something and all this kind of stuff?
Well, again, how many things have we talked about over the years where it's like GameStop could cut this or that to save money, but they'll never do it.
Right. But what they'll do is they'll cut stores and cut people.
Exactly. And then, they'd rather do that.
To launch all of this stuff and push all of this into NFT sales at the time where it's dropped to its lowest point in a year.
Yeah.
Seems like bad timing, right?
It seems like bad timing, but at the same time, I tell you, it's a classic GameStop move because somebody there said, well, we fucking have to do it.
Well, what's going to happen with it is they'll use it to make some quick cash. Chewy.com will cut himself another check, and then he'll fire the next person and blame everything on them. And that's what he does.
For sure.
And it's just like, they can't afford to keep stores open or pay people salaries, but man, they can sure put out awful content to play on those TVs on loop every month. Where we've got Twitch personalities talking to me about the latest Funko Pop.
Is that what it is now? Like I have not paid attention to the TV.
When I go in, I try not to pay attention to it just because I learned to block that out after 9 years. But
the one near me, they have their TV on mute constantly, and I don't know if it's just because they hate it or because their TV's broken.
Well, remember when we could do that because ours was archaically set up through a stereo system? Yeah, we could just turn that off. Oops. Yes, I don't know, man. The TV's just not working today.
Yeah,
So it's just they spend money on incredibly dumb things,
incredibly stupid shit,
and. Like Game Informer, there's no way, let's be honest, there's no way it was making any money. It just doesn't need to exist anymore. I love it. I'll be sad to see it go just because there aren't physical game publications anymore like there used to be. Yeah. But we're at a time where like the news cycle, much like sports or politics or anything, is instantaneous.
Yeah.
Like
the internet
it's not
killed print media.
Like I literally just got my new Game Informer today. And it's a Sonic Frontiers article. It's like, I already know everything I need to know about Sonic Frontiers, man. I've known for a month.
Yeah.
Well, it's just print media in general is not worth investing in right now. Like, I finally got my dad, who has gotten the paper, like the local paper, for years and years and years, to finally give up and just get the digital subscription for it.
Right.
And he's so much happier with it now because he doesn't have to walk outside and look for a paper that's probably lost, because that's what kept happening.
Yeah, and that's the
but
thing.
like,
is,
at the same time,
if you're paying for a physical paper to show up to your house, and you like the paper, then pay
how
for
are
the
you
digital
still
one.
doing that?
But pay for the digital one. That makes more sense. And it's going to it's still going to the same place. You still get your local news, but like video game news is instantaneous. Stuff gets leaked on
so many outlets,
Twitter, like it's just crazy. But this GameStop stuff, like this is just the tip of the iceberg, man. I can't wait for a year from now when it turns out like, well, the NFT thing really didn't work out. But because like everything they've tried really doesn't work out. Cricket really didn't work out. The credit card. Oh man, we haven't even. I don't even think we've talked about the credit card on this.
I am
podcast
amazed
yet.
Nobody has asked a question about the credit card. I really am.
But like, man, did that trickle out? Like
exactly
every dumb thing.
Well, remember that thing's absurd interest rate too.
27%,
crazy.
27%.
What were the deals that they were doing? Because like I did it and I got like my. That's how I got my PS4. And then after that, it was like I paid it off right away, and then I just would never use it.
It was the typical shit where it was like no interest for like 6 months if you made a purchase if you made a purchase over a certain amount. So it's just like I bought my Wii U and just paid it off in 6 months and just got to pay it off.
Yeah, and that's what I did with the PS4.
And then I cut that card up and never used it again.
Exactly.
But man, they would have people apply for that thing on the pin pad in the store.
Oh yeah, well the great tablet we had.
But we could talk about that another time. But that's just another example of like.
And now that we mentioned it, I guarantee someone's going to email in about that.
That's fine.
Oh yeah,
you can't offer that anymore. You can't offer it anymore, right?
You cannot offer it anymore. Okay. No, I don't. Well, it got to a point where when I was still there, you could not offer it anymore, but people could get it if they like went to a website and signed up themselves. But I had no way. I had no way to do it in the store anymore. Which is the exact opposite of what it used to be, because it used to be like you had to get like 1 or 2 applications a day or you get yelled at. But yeah, the other funny part about this, like this GameStop thing is like they fired all these people and then they were like, well, but instead, we actually hired a lot of people the last 2 years. It's like, oh, so that was a mistake because you hired too many people. And and then like the other big chuckle of this story, which is a lie and it's never true, is they're going to use this NFT program to reinvest in the stores. Absolute false.
That's going all into that Chewy guy's
biggest
pocket.
Possible lie they could ever tell. Reinvest in what? You don't pay your employees anything. I've heard from a lot of places, and this kind of happened, or just sources and stuff. And this kind of happened when we were still there. They're cutting out the assistant position, like it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
and there's some stores that are testing to only be open like 12 to 7 every day and then 12 to 6 Sundays, because guess what that means? That means one person working one shift.
One shift, yeah.
So 12 to 7, it would be me all day.
Yeah, I wouldn't even go in an hour early, like
I'd
11.
Go in at 11, and I'd leave at 8 and whatever. Yeah. But I wouldn't even need you or a GA.
Exactly.
So why would I need an assistant? If I've got to be off 2 days, I have two SGAs could split that day.
Yeah.
So like,
you would
crazy.
still on weekends. You would probably still need a second person there.
That's fine though, but that means
store's going to get busy. That's
like 5 during the week. A week, you don't need a second person anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what's even the point?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's getting weirder and weirder and weirder. And to say that they're reinvesting in the stores.
No, that's going to that Chewy.com guy's yacht collection.
He's going right into his pocket. And my favorite part is it's going to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen. It may be early next year when like the fiscal year's over. One day that dude's going to wake up and say, I'm out. And he's going to walk away. And he's going to leave rubble behind him. And the next CFO who comes in is going to be like, what the fuck? And the whole thing's an expert.
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
Because what does he care? If it tanks, he walks away.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Why would he?
I hope his boat sinks.
I love it though.
Which one? He probably has more than one.
He has one that probably I think floats on Jeff Bezos's boat.
There you go. All right, so next email we have comes from Brandon from St. Augustine, Florida. He says, "Hi guys, just found your podcast after listening to the episode with Ryan, and I've been hooked since. I especially love the GameStop banter. Last week you guys mentioned that you wanted game recommendations, and I have one for y'all. I know Kyle has been talking about getting around to Days Gone and enjoying the survival aspects of the game. Have you all tried State of Decay 2? It's on Game Pass. It is constantly being updated. It's been out since 2018, and I'm still regularly playing this game and eagerly awaiting the third one. Have any of you played this hidden gem?" So I'm sure you both have maybe
I'll say
at least know what it is.
I dabbled in the. I played some of the first one, and then I played a little bit of 2 at the start. I think even you and I might have played a little bit together when 2 came out.
Maybe,
but I never played it. I never played a ton of it, but I was always interested in it.
So here's I will preface this by saying I have played a metric shit ton of this game.
Mm-hmm.
I love it, but it did not, like, State of Decay 2 did not launch great. It famously had one of the worst implementations of motion blur in a game I've ever seen, so bad that it gave me a headache and I had to stop playing the game. And then I was telling my friend about it, and he's like, he didn't believe it. I was like, all right. We downloaded it, and I showed it to him, and he agreed. He's like, no, this is terrible. So it is a game that, like, it launched it, and like I really liked the original one. It was like one of those last of the like 360 Summer of Arcade era games that, like, you could see the potential of what they were trying to go for.
That was like the big one too, where they were like, check this out, and like, you know, persistent. Like somebody dies, you take over as the next person. Like kind of a thing. And there were games at the same time trying to do that. Like, remember that was the big zombie thing, was like, the person died, you took over kind of a thing. So that was like a theme, but State of Decay was supposed to be like the big one.
Yeah. And like, I'd say like one, it was a good like proof of concept game. Like you could see what they were going for there, but at the time the technology wasn't quite there to do what they wanted to do. And like the first one didn't have co-op either. It was a single player game, but like you could see where they were going with it. 2 is a fantastic game. I have played, I think I after I saw this email, I went and looked. I have played whatever the Xbox does it in days. I have played a total of like 5.5 days of this game, or 6 days, somewhere around there. I've played a lot.
Yeah.
I have a buddy of mine, and I played a lot of this game in co-op. We have a couple different communities in the game that we've grown, like just of different characters and stuff. And that's one of the coolest aspects of it, is like having the community that you have to keep up on. And, you know, some of them might go crazy or something. Some might get bit and die, but like some of them will try to start a mutiny against you if you don't like do certain things. State of Decay 2 also, like, it's an entire county. And the maps, there are a couple different maps. So there's like, it's the first one was just one map. They brought that map back in for the second game. And now, when they first put that map into the second game, it was only on one specific like story mode. They now have put that into the free play mode, or whatever they call it in that game. So that is easily the best map in the game, because it's the original map, but it's heavily expanded. So there's like a couple of little small towns and cities in that map. And then there's, you know, a big countryside and stuff. But that's an incredible game. So, I mean, like, I could speak highly of it and I can talk to it. They're still updating it to this day too. That's what's really cool. Like, they keep doing just even little minor improvements to the game, like some stuff with the controls and things like that. But highly recommend that game. So I'm glad somebody talked about it, because like I don't know if that game would ever come up on here organically. So
right.
I love that game. I'm glad you suggested it, because if there's somebody out there looking for something like that, and Days Gone, like, I'd say that's more of a, like, I'd say that game steers more towards like Horizon or something. But if you want something that's truly like a survival type of an experience, State of Decay 2, fantastic for.
Well, it's important to note that like one of those is a PlayStation franchise and one of those is an Xbox franchise.
Exactly. Yeah,
exactly.
So, and that
like,
game is
I was gonna say I probably put in maybe an hour into that.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't gotten too far, but I mean, I liked what I played of it, but I never like went back to it, because I was like, I don't know if I'm really feeling it right now, so I just bounced out of it.
Well, the other thing I'll say to it too that like really got me into it was the co-op aspect of it, because the first game didn't have that. So like after playing like maybe 10-15 hours of it's like, I get what's going on here, but it'd probably be better with more people. And this game obviously fully co-op. This developer that made this game, I can't think of their name right now, but they are working on the third game. But I want to say the last I saw is like they just picked the engine, so it's going to be a while.
Oh boy, yeah.
Nice. But they're still updating this one, and like I can wait. So like every once in a while, like it's the kind of thing too. Like we bounce in and out of it. Like I guarantee you, before the end of this year, my buddy will be like, "Let's play some State of Decay," and then we'll be playing that for like a month straight. So, fantastic recommendation though. So I'm glad somebody brought it up, because I never even would have thought to. So with that, we had one other game recommendation, so I'll read that one now too. We had Lacey from Jacksonville, Florida, said, "Hi dudes, I wanted to suggest a game that just came out, which is the Clona Fantasy Revere series remake. I've been playing it this past week, and it's vanning back to a lot of nostalgia. Have you guys ever played these games?" I have not. So
no,
I don't know if any of you have.
I never did.
It's like a PS1 era.
Well, again, it was one of those things where like that's a PlayStation game, and I didn't have I had an N64 for a long time. I didn't get into PS1 gaming until I got my 2. But
I'll say, like, when it came out for me, I was so busy wanting to play every JRPG at that point. Like, I wasn't interested in a platformer, so that's why I never played it.
Yeah.
It looks cool.
So we got this email, and I looked into it, and there's a demo of it.
Okay.
So I downloaded the demo, and I was like, all right, let's mess around and test it out. And so I played. It comes with 1 and 2. So I played 2 just to kind of get. I didn't know if I necessarily want to go all the way back to the first one just to see what it's like. So I played the second one. It's definitely like it's a platformer game. It reminds me a lot of like it's side to side kind of a thing, and it's mainly like jumping puzzle type stuff. I can certainly see why people would have liked it back like when it came out, because it was definitely along those kind of lines of platformers. It's you could just like you hit enemies, and if you pick up an enemy, you can use it to jump higher. So there's ways to get like these different gems and stuff like that. Would you say
it's like around the same era as like maybe the original Crash Bandicoot?
Yeah, it's in that kind of vein. It also reminded me a lot of like Knights. Knights in the Dreams and that kind of stuff.
All right, yeah, that I did play. So
yeah, but like more so like graphically, kind of like that kind of stuff.
Okay,
cool. It's a fun little platforming game. Like I don't know if I'll ever necessarily get like the full game and play through it, just because it's definitely it's an old game. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're not going to update it for this, and it just feels and plays a certain way. It's a little slow, but it's it kind of reminds me of it also kind of reminds me of like a Kirby game where like you're just kind of running through and playing it and jumping around and stuff like. But there is a demo, so I mean, and the demo lets you play. Yeah, it lets you play through like a level. So I was like, you know what, let's do it, because Lacey recommended it. I'm like, sure, I can give it a shot. And
I'm down to try.
Yeah, and it's the kind of thing too where like I think if you played it back then, it's definitely cleaner. Like the colors are very bright and it looks clear. So like it's probably a really good update for people who have. And I know people like that game a lot, because I remember when they put that like Wii version out, it was hard to get, and I think it still is. I think it's expensive now. Just because of like
I vaguely remember that
they never made a ton of those kind of things, those games. But yeah, it was neat. It's a neat little game, and I'm sure it's actually not that crazy. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe if it goes on sale for like 10, 15
because that was my thing. I think I looked and it's like 40, and I was like, $20 would probably be where I would be at. It's on. I believe it's on everything. It's on PS4, Xbox, Switch.
Yeah, the demo's like PS4, PS5. Okay. But yeah, it's a fun little platforming game.
Okay. No, and again, both those great recommendations, and keep bringing those in, because like something I might not even thought of.
That's something I may never have even tried, and I was like, you know what? There's a demo. Let's do it.
Yeah,
I will say some of the versions of the game are pretty high in price, though, like the originals.
I think the PS2 one is weird, is high too.
Yeah.
So did the first one come out on PS1 and the sequel was PS2, or how did that work?
I'm pretty sure.
I was gonna say I don't know.
I remember the PS2 one. Like I can remember the box. from just working at Game Crazy and stuff. I could picture it for sure, but just one of those things.
There's
where
a couple
I
of Game Boy Advance titles too.
Yeah, there definitely is. It was just I remember at the time it was just one of those things where by the time I finally had a system to play it on, I just wasn't interested anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
But
I hear that for sure.
Yeah. Had moved on.
All right. Sure. Grant from Asheville, North Carolina says, "Hi dudes, with your years working for GameStop and gaming retail in general, what is the craziest thing management ever asked you to do, and did you follow through with it, or did you say that you would just not do it to appease the higher up authority? Thanks." I mean, I will say I'm going to let Dan kind of spearhead this one because he's going to have more experience with this than me. My higher up pretty much was Dan. Like I maybe saw, I'm trying to think in the 4.5 years that I worked for GameStop, maybe close to a dozen times that I see a district manager, especially towards the end, like you never saw him. So like when we had the newer guy, which was actually pretty cool, I had no problems with him, but like I didn't see him very often because he'd usually come during the day.
So they weren't really there to see you. They were there to see me to tell me what to tell you. Like that's
exactly.
I was the buffer. Like people below store 100%. Leader typically don't talk to district or like regional people for that matter. If you ever saw a regional person as like someone who wasn't a store leader, that was a mistake on timing.
Who are you?
Yeah, who are you? So yeah, it's just that didn't really exist. So I mean, there's more examples that I'm going to give for sure, and I'll remember them later. But like, there's a lot of times you get asked to do dumb stuff, and like not necessarily stuff that would be like I'm really pushing back against the man, but like just stuff that's dumb, and you're like, no, why? That doesn't make any sense, and I'm not going to do that. Or you tell them like this is what's going to happen if I do this, and they ignore you, and then the thing happens, and it's not a good thing. Like my first instance. So when I worked at Game Crazy, this was in a town around here where the town had a couple different like ordinances for like buildings and like what like a I forget what it was called, but it was like make your building look pretty kind of an ordinance kind of a thing. Okay. So one of the rules was because we were part of a Hollywood Video, we had all those big like glass windows going around the outside.
Yeah.
That we would put up like the vinyls on was like coming soon or like new movies, all that kind of stuff. You could only cover 50% of the windows on your building. Okay. That was a rule. That one they didn't check on. I don't ever remember really getting talked about that, but it was because we only ever had 2 vinyls up at once, and I don't think it ever took up more than 50%. But one of the things they always wanted me to do is like, you know how if you're driving around town and maybe you're passing like a food truck or something that's parked somewhere, and they'll have those like flags posted out by the road, like the big like curved flags. It'll say like tacos on it or whatever. Well, we had Game Crazy ones, and despite the fact that we were facing a major road and had a sign, they wanted me to put these out by the road. Like we had like three of them or whatever. And like the way our thing worked is like you went out and there was our parking lot, and then it would kind of like up a hill to this road. And this road, Kyle knows.
Yeah, I know.
This road is a major highway. It is like a major road
even
of the area
now.
Yes,
they just keep expanding it. Isn't it like worse. 6 lanes now?
Oh, it's nuts now. Like to be fair, it's finally quote unquote finished 20 years later. But it was also, I think it was like it's always under construction. They were always expanding it. Yeah. They actually tried to expand at one point to the point where they were going to have to take up our parking lot, and like they had to try to agree that like every business on that side of the street would say it was okay, and eventually like they're all like, no, we're not going to do that, so it never happened. But so they wanted me to put up these flags, and the rule in the town was you can't do that without a permit. Like you had to go to the police station, ask them for a permit, pay to do it, and all this kind of stuff, and put them up. And this was one time. This is right after I'd lost like, I think my first DM who was pretty good, and then I had a really bad one in between, and then I had really bad ones for a long time. But like the one in between, he was just an ass. Like he was a jerk. Literally, no one liked him. He was a big MLM guy because he tried to put his like little pills that he sold in the stores, and we were like, no, we're not, no, because you're supposed to take like cash for it and stuff. Like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
If he had done that, I would have called corporate like, hey, is it okay if our district manager sells these pills in the store? But it never came up. But so I tried to tell him, he's like, you need to put these flags up. And I said, and this was just like a phone call. And I said, I cannot, if I do that, we will get fined from the city. I know this will happen. I don't care. Do it. I'm telling you to do it. I'm telling you again that we will get a ticket from the city for an amount of money to be paid.
Yeah, and it would probably be a couple $100. It
was probably like $300. Right?
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't care. Do it. And I said, I'm going to do this, but I want you to tell me specifically that it's okay that I do this. Yeah, I don't care. Whatever. Fine. I walk outside, stick the stupid things in the ground, went back inside, and I looked at the clock. Just to know, 15 minutes later, cop rolls in. Hey, what's going on? Hey, did you put those flags up out there? Sure did. Do you have a permit for that? Sure don't. You're gonna need to take those down. I know. So I went outside and I took them down. Take them down. Come back in. Get my phone. Yeah, hey, it's me. The cops just came in, and they told me I had to take the flags down, or they were going to fine us. Well, that's ridiculous. And I said, it's the law. He said, well, I want you to put them back up. And I said, are you telling me right now
my God.
that I have to go back out there and put these things back up after the cops just told me to take them down? Yeah. I'm not going to do that. Yeah. Well, we'll have a talk about it the next time I'm in there. Okay. A couple weeks go by. He comes back out. He comes in. You need to go put those flags out there. I'm like, do you not remember the time? He's like, I'll handle it. If something happens, I'll handle it.
Awesome.
Okay. I go out there. Tick, tick, tick. Put him on the ground. He leaves. Half an hour later, another cop comes in. Different person. Hey, did you put those flags up out there? Sure did. You can't do that without a permit. I know. And he said, "You're gonna get a ticket for those." And I said, "That's okay." So yeah, I didn't say like write the ticket, but I said that's okay. And he wrote a ticket, and I called my boss. I'm like, dude. Hey, you were just here? Yeah, the cops were just here, and they wrote me a ticket. That's ridiculous. I can't do that. And I said, well, what do you want me to do with the ticket? Just hold on to it. I'll come get it. And I think he came and got it like 2 weeks later. I don't know what happened after that, but I never had to put those flags out again. I just threw them away. But it's like, they don't listen to you. Like they
don't.
One of the biggest, and that was just a Game Crazy story. And I have a couple GameStop ones here in a second, but like one of the biggest things that they always would tell you, and it was like a mantra for a while, and they probably don't say it to them anymore because it doesn't mean anything more. Run the store like it's your business. You remember that? They would always tell you, like, run it like it's your store. Yeah. You know what's best, but we're never going to.
That's how we ran our store.
To be fair, we did.
No, I know what you mean.
But we're never going to listen to a single thing you say, and you're always wrong. But run it's like it's your business.
Exactly.
It was just like the most counterintuitive. It's the most counterintuitive thing they've ever said, and it's just they would hammer it into you over and over and over again.
I got one I thought of before you continue.
Go ahead.
Do you remember, and you'll know more about it when I mention it, but do you remember, and I'm trying to remember the specific service, but it was a morning that I opened, and when I went to open some program or something to do a scan of something, it was GSO. Yeah. Remember when they took GSO down and they put up that stupid announcement? Do you remember exactly what it said? That's what I'm trying to remember. I used to have a picture of it on my phone, but it's on a phone I don't have.
No. Okay, so this is I'll do this one short.
This was a really fucking stupid one.
So some higher up somewhere had gone into some store and observed them messing up or not saying what they were supposed to be saying. And I remember this was around the time when they changed pre-owned stuff to be 10 and 20.
Yes.
And it was always going to be 10% off of new price and 20, at least 20 if you had a
Pro card. Yeah.
Okay. And that was the only thing you were I think legally allowed to say as an employee of GameStop at that point was
in this
thanks for coming into GameStop. Did you know that used games are 10%, at least 10% off and pre-owned games? And the way they did it, the math never worked out right, so it wasn't actually true. But they didn't care that it wasn't true. So This guy must have seen somebody really high up saw them not do it.
Yeah.
And had a hissy fit. Like just absolutely must have probably went home, stamped his feet and cried and rubbed his eyes and told his mommy that they weren't doing what he told them to do.
Exactly.
So he flips out and somehow convinces corporate to. So we had a tool at GameStop called GSO, which was basically like everything you need to know, like planograms, news, stuff that you had to do, tasks, all this other kind of stuff.
A very important tool that you need every day.
You didn't need to be on it all the time, but you needed it. You needed to be able to access it because that's how you printed reports and like knew your rankings.
And that you especially need it when you open the store.
Yeah, you needed it
part of the morning.
So you open a GSO and it comes up with this. Something somebody thought was cute, or it was like a Matrix style background where it's like GSO's temporarily been taken down so that employees can convey the pre-owned sales message or whatever.
No, it specifically said you need to call your district
manager for details.
And so I looked at it, and the first thing I thought was like, I'm not fucking calling the district manager. So I just called like the other local store, and I asked them, like, do you see this bullshit? And then that was the person that actually had called the district manager, and they're like, "Well, this is what's going on." I'm like, "Okay, cool."
But the important thing was to note district manager. They took this service away for multiple days.
Yeah, it was a while
to punish everyone for this guy's hissy fit, whoever it was.
And it was literally every person that walked in the store, you had to greet them that way.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome to GameStop. Because now
it was going to be
ridiculous.
Now that's going on, they're going to send out the district and his, all the cronies to go out and watch you do it and make sure that you're doing it. It was just absurd. Like they take away a vital tool you need to run the store because somebody didn't say something right. Again, a phrase that wasn't even technically true sometimes, but they didn't matter to them. That was crazy. Insane. It was insane. And like we got yelled at because we didn't call the district manager, and we had to have a conference call. There was a conference call.
I text you the picture of it, and then I was like, I already talked to the other store. I'm not calling them.
No, I think I even told you not to.
Yeah, and then I know people got
a conference call, and then my district manager pitched a hissy fit because nobody called him. This just shows that you guys aren't paying attention. It's like, get off of my back, okay?
He took our tool away.
Like Christ. It was just awful.
That was the one I thought of.
That was a bad one.
It's a good one.
Here's another good one. This is a real winner of something that's like, why would you ask me to do this? I'm not going to do this.
I remember this one.
A big problem with our store, very big problem with our store was it did not face the street. For a long time, we had 2 anchor stores, and an anchor store is like a big box store, and we had a Party City and a Big Lots for a long time, which was kind of nice because.
Well, you should go back even further. So originally, the shopping center that our store was in had a Walmart. It had a major chain grocery store.
Yeah,
which
it used to be like a major. If anybody
in our
out
there even knows what that is,
yeah.
And then we had our strip center, which had various retailers
Bookstore,
that rotated
a GNC,
but the mainstays
Dollar
were GNC,
Tree. Right?
Dollar Tree until
Chinese
they finally wised up and moved, and then the Chinese buffet,
which is
still there.
Only thing still there.
Yes, it is.
So, but it's important to note that like all of those things existed when our store first existed because it was a Funko Land a very long time ago.
Yes, it was.
But over time, stuff left. It got to a point where like it was just Party City and us, and then this awful like trampoline place we've talked about. Party City finally leaves, so we have no anchor stores. And the important thing is,
our anchor next door was a blood bank.
Oh, they left, but then they left,
and then they left.
But the whole thing of this is you couldn't see us from the street. You kind of had to know where we were because the sign, like the plaza sign, didn't even have us on it. It had Big Lots, which was gone. It had Party City, which was gone. It had the trampoline place, and it had a Jimmy John's, which was something you could see from the street.
Yeah,
we never had a sign. And Kyle knows this. I brought it up to anybody I could whenever they came in, like, we need a sign. Why don't we have we're GameStop, we should have a sign. And like when that didn't work, I actually tried to get the store moved, and it almost happened. Remember, it almost happened.
We almost got it. We
almost got it.
Yeah,
and then it fell through because that guy bought our building.
Well, that was part of it, but also wasn't it like they talked to 2 different? The guy talked to like 2 different realtors, and then tried to play them against each other.
Yeah,
and then they found out and basically said, "Fuck you."
We were supposed to move across the parking lot next to the Jimmy John's, which would have been good.
Which would have been fantastic,
right?
Yeah.
And then we were actually supposed to move across, like down the street a little bit, in front of a major grocery store facing the street, which would have been the ideal solution. And that was almost done, and then they bombed it. But forever, it was always like, we don't have a sign. Why don't we have a sign? This is insane. Every other store faces the street. every other store like has a sign on the back so that, like, you can see where it is.
Well,
if
and
you
also
don't
the
know
other
where
key
we are,
thing
you
to
cannot
remember,
see us.
The other key thing to remember is on Google Maps we were not placed correctly.
Oh my god, that took
we were placed down the street behind
the Target,
the fucking Jewel. No, Target. Yeah,
it was by the Target. Because the way our store number worked was, I don't even know how it was possible, but like we were a certain address, and then the Target was the next number
across the street.
But it was down the street
really
and across. Weird. There's no way it could have ever happened like that. We would have been next door neighbors. But so anyway, we don't have a sign. Yeah. At one point we had there's a mystical position at GameStop, which is above store leader but below district manager. And that's like that's been called numerous things over the year, like area manager or group store leader.
I was gonna say, are you talking about the area manager?
That's okay. What it's been called
to the regional manager.
Like
there you go.
It's crazy because it's held so many things, but like that's kind of like it's like a bitch slot where like you do everything a district manager does, but you get no recognition for it. It's kind of like a test, like to see if you could become a DM.
Absolutely.
But they use it as a way to dump work off on you. So we had at the time we had one. She was awful. I knew her for a while because she was a store leader, but she was one of those people. She slept her way to her position, and then eventually won more up, and then she left the company. But like that wasn't even a secret. Like everyone knew it, so that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Hey, if she didn't care, fine. I didn't care. But so I even brought it. I even brought it up to her because she got put in charge of our area. And I even brought it up to her and I said, we need to talk about this. Like, I need to figure this out. And she finally had this brilliant idea that I should, because you could not see us from the road because we were down in a thing. Like we were even like down a slope. So like even if you look straight across, you couldn't see us because there was a Party City parking lot and a Big Lots parking lot and then a hill and then our parking lot.
And then,
she wanted me to park my car. My at the time newly leased car. It was like a new car at the time. Park my car in the Party City parking lot, far enough to where I couldn't see it out the front door. Get a banner, like a GameStop banner because we always had banners and signs in the store.
We always had banners.
To get a banner and hang it on my fucking car, like somehow tie it to the side of my car, so that while we were open and I guess only when I was working, we'd have a sign that you could maybe see from the main street. If you were slowing down, it was questionable.
Yeah.
I told her, I said, "Are you crazy? Like, how does that sound like a good idea? That's not a solution." And then she's like, "Well, you could get like the banner stakes and you could go stake it up in the thing." And I'm like, so now I got to stake it in a place where I can't see it, where it's going to get knocked over all the damn time. And also, you're not allowed to do that because you weren't allowed to do that. Like, she was just dumb and just never came up with good ideas. And that was her brilliant idea for a sign for the store, was to tape a banner in my fucking car. Lunatic. Some other good ones, because GameStop relies on 18-year-olds to fill positions. They don't actively like hire. They'll post a job opening for a job that's not open. Just to have people apply for it, which is a huge mess and a bad way to do it. So it got so bad at one point that like we didn't have a pool of applicants in the district.
I remember
for management positions specifically, because I always had GA applications. I had a big clipboard that I kept in. Well, let's be fair. I had two clipboards I kept in the
the good one and
bad
the
ones
bad one.
And the good ones, and there weren't many good ones. But it got so desperate at one point they would actually schedule me to take a handful of take a bunch of them and go try to like poach people at other stores. They would try to pay me to like go walk around Target for like 2 hours and hand out applications for competing business across
someone
the street.
else's active job.
Like what? I'm going to get kicked out if they see me doing that. So a lot of times I would just pretend I did it and I'd fucking go to Panera and eat lunch. I'd go to Best Buy and pretend I was doing it and just walk around.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you. This is not my job.
Exactly.
My job isn't to guerrilla market management positions at GameStop because you fuckers can't properly get applications.
Exactly.
Now, like we would do job fairs sometimes, and that's fine. Job fairs are fine. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I would have to go do those. Like go sit at the local mall, which is now a derelict drug war zone. I don't even know what that is anymore.
Yes, it is.
But like we would go hanging at the food court and just like there'd be like 5 of us just doing interviews all day. That was fine. I didn't mind that so much. But I'm not guerrilla marketing shit. And then the last thing I remember doing that was just
also a good one,
real fucking dumb, was we would have meetings at this mall where we'd sit in an abandoned clothing store and talk about whatever. But this one was focused on like customer service, whatever. Mm-hmm. So his grand idea was, we're gonna break off into teams, and I want you guys to wander the mall and just see what other stores' customer service interactions are like. We're like, are we really going to do this for like 4 hours? This is insane.
And this would have been like what, like 2013, 2014,
this
like around that era when like
14.
This is and keep in mind, this is the mall we just mentioned.
Yes. It is not quite derelict at that point, but it was close.
But still, it's close. A mall after 2010 when like retail malls are dying.
At least small ones, small like local malls didn't need to exist anymore.
Exactly.
So this would have been 2014, maybe early 2015 for sure.
So do you think there's going to be good customer service there?
I remember it was that time for a specific reason, because we obviously we didn't take this seriously. Like we just walked as far away from our district leader as we could, and we broke off into a team. And my favorite part was we broke off into a team where it was me, a friend of mine who was a manager, and she happened to be pregnant at the time, and then another guy who was a manager. And so we came up with this backstory where he and I were in a relationship and she was our surrogate. So like, so we went to whatever the baby store was in the mall or whatever. And this lady like approached the 3 of us coming in together, and we're like, oh, she's having our baby. And she just kind of like stared at us for a minute. And then she's like, oh, wow. We kind of like looked around. I thought it was hilarious as hell. Cause it's like, this is so stupid. Like, I'm not going to take this seriously. Don't even pretend like any of us are going to take this. When we got back to the room, I just made up everything. Like, oh yeah, this person was real great. They came up and they like shook my hand and then put their hand down my pocket and reached around for a little bit. Like, it's just like, nobody cares. Come on.
No, it's ridiculous.
Should I even have my job if I don't know what customer service is? Probably not. Exactly. It's just, he would find colossal ways to waste time. And I remember he would make me go to meetings there or sometimes farther away. And then he would have the meeting end at like 3:00. Well, and then I would tell him, like, do I have to go back to my store for an hour? What is the point of that? Well, yeah, you have to. That's ridiculous.
By the time you drive back,
I get back,
you got like 15 minutes.
It's just like, are you what?
Especially at that time when traffic's picking up from where you were.
So if you're going to schedule this as a meeting day, either make it a literal half day or make it a full day. It's just wasting time and wasting like. Did
he also have you like walk around putting flyers on cars and shit? I
wanted me
remember
to.
That.
He wanted me to. There's no way I was doing that.
No,
I'm not putting trash out there. Come on. But like I
think one of them was like, "Go walk over to Buffalo Wild Wings and just start putting shit on people's windshields." Like, no, dude, like that's a bad idea.
No, but like again, that's the kind of thing that like a local business does or a mom and pop store does. Not a store that's got 5,000 locations worldwide is investing in crypto technology.
Exactly.
They try to treat it. They literally treat those stores like they're a local store with basically like the amount of resources they give you, and they just make you do all this dumb shit to cover the stuff they don't want to do or they don't know how to do. And it's just just became. I don't know. I was pretty damn defiant, but put a banner in my car. Get out of here. Don't ever come back.
Well, I mean, I also still cling to like if that landlord we had wasn't a piece of garbage, store probably would have made it. I don't know if it would still be open today because I think the pandemic probably would have taken it down.
Yeah,
but we would have made it.
We would have made it till that store would have lasted till 2020. Yeah. And then when the pandemic hit and they tried to argue that we were essential, when we finally had to close for a little bit, that would have killed it.
That because wasn't it like a lot of the stores were closed for like a month or something?
And then they reopened and started to really focus on like ship from store stuff.
Yeah.
Which we probably would have been okay doing, but like I don't
think it would have made it through that era.
I think that was one of those stores that just never would have reopened, especially considering there's another store in town that was quote unquote.
That's when they would have taken that real look at like, why do we have 2 stores?
Right.
Exactly.
Right. The better location, all that kind of stuff. Although that store was the one that got robbed all the time, and we never did. So
we never did because, again, Google Maps didn't tell
Google
you where
Maps,
we were.
you couldn't find us. No sign, no Google Maps, can't rob us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was good. All right. Last email we have, and I actually thought this was a really interesting one. It comes from Brandon from Clive, Iowa. Hi guys, love the podcast. Are there any game systems throughout the years that you've actually never played to this day? Thanks. I have one, and it's the Sega Saturn.
You've never played a Saturn?
Wow. I've never played a Saturn.
Do you own one?
No.
Okay.
When I don't even think I knew that it existed until like much later, like after I had a Dreamcast.
Okay.
Because it wasn't really like, for me, I don't think it was really that heavily marketed at the time.
It was not.
Not like because of how quickly it came out and then just was done.
Well, it got destroyed by the PlayStation almost immediately.
It did.
Was the problem.
It did. And that was the thing. Like, I don't even remember because I was thinking back about it. Like, I don't even remember seeing those games in a video game store, or like not video game store, but like a rental store. Because like I would be going to Family Video all the time.
They definitely.
Games. Like, I don't remember a Sega Saturn.
They definitely existed at Hollywood Video, and the only reason I know that is because when I was a kid, a friend of mine I think I told this before a while back. Mm-hmm. A friend of mine had a birthday party, and his parents let him rent a PlayStation and a Saturn.
That's cool.
And like 3 games for each thing. It was nothing. And like the funny part was we played the Saturn more than the PlayStation. But
that's funny.
Yeah, it's a weird system. Like it existed Saturn for a very small amount of time.
Because like even like the Virtual Boy, which I've never owned a Virtual Boy, but I played it in the store, like demos. Kiosks they had for when it came out. Yeah, exactly. And that's like even then, when I was like I would have been like 10 or 11 at the time. Like I knew that wasn't a good system. Then,
I played one of those in a.
Was one of like you played that in a kiosk. Like what is this? Like why did my eyes hurt?
I distinctly remember playing that in the. You remember the big Toys R Us by us, right? One down by that mall.
Yes.
Yeah, yep. They had it, and then that was also where I've actually played like a Jaguar. And stuff like that.
I've even played that. Like obviously years later, like I've played that. Obviously I own a TurboGrafx now. I mean, I never played one of those as a kid because who had one of those when you were a kid? But I own one now. I played that, but like the Saturn, I've never owned one. I've never played one. There just weren't kiosks for it. Like even when I was thinking back, like when we've gone to MGC those couple times, like I don't even think I've ever picked up like the one that was there, which is what I should do just to see what it's even like. Like I just never ever touched one. Yeah. Like I've just never played one. So
it's a cool system.
That's my answer. So I just never. I wasn't a Sega kid. Like I said, it wasn't until the Dreamcast when I was like, man, this system is really fucking cool. I should get one.
I played some of that stuff later in life. Like I played a Master System well after I played a Dreamcast.
Yeah, I even knew, like even as a kid, there was one friend I had like right on the edge of like when the Genesis came out that I knew that had a Master System.
Right, that's what my best friend Genesis. Was. Yeah,
exactly.
What about you, Matt? Because I'm trying to think of one.
So, in talking about it right now, I think I'm kind of with you. I've never played a TurboGrafx. Okay. I honestly tried to buy one not too long ago, but the guy wanted like an extravagant price, and I was just like, I don't see trying to pay. I think he wanted like $200 for it.
No,
and I was just like, I
wouldn't pay more than $100.
Yeah, I was like, I can't support that. I was like, no, but I appreciate the offer. And then, so I might sound kind of dumb when I say this, though. What is the difference between the Sega CD and the Sega Saturn?
They're different systems.
The CD wasn't. That was an add-on.
That's an add-on for the Genesis.
That's what I thought.
That was part of that big thing where it's like
I've never
32X and then the CD.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like it was the combined piece, right? Like
so like there was that, and then there's the 32X. So like, and depending on the model Genesis you either had the CD that was underneath it, or you had the CD that was on the side and it popped up for like the fat ones. But that is I've never Sega CD games.
Yeah, I've never touched one of those. Like I've always had a Genesis. I just never was able to catch that add-on to add on to the Sega CD.
Both of those didn't last very long either.
Well, and the thing I'll say too, going back on the Sega, is like the friend that I had that had a Master System, then a Genesis, that's where I played the 32X and the CD, and then I moved away. Had I had stayed where I was at the time, he probably did get a Saturn, and I probably would have played the Saturn, so because he was a Sega kid. But I moved away, and then the people I knew in the next town that I lived in, they were all either Nintendo and PlayStation, and at some point I had both, so it didn't matter. But
I'm actively like looking for the stuff I never touched, because I was like, even though I've never played it and I don't have like any attachment to it, like I want to get it because like I just want to see what it's about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's really what I'm about. And so I keep finding them. Like, I keep finding shit, but it's just like people want, it's like you think you have Mario for the NES and that's like $45 game. And I'm like, eat a bag of dicks. There's no way I'm paying $45 for that game. And it's just some of the things that people are asking for. It's like, why would I pay you that much for that? So I want to try it, but then
if you want a Turbo Graphics, eventually Analog's going to come out with that Turbo Duo thing.
Yeah,
which is like
I do want to check that out.
I'm going to try to grab one of those because that has a CD thing in it too.
Okay. When's that supposed to be? Like, do we have any?
That's when those people say, "Hey,
that's
it's up
when they
today."
Turn it on. Like it's been
probably say like a week before, but they've been working on.
If you go to their site, you can read about it right now. But it's cool.
You can probably sign up for like an email alert, but you'll find out before you.
Well, and that way you get a turbo that has an HDMI cord on it. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
I'm gonna look that up right now.
You should.
Lie.
Did what does a Saturn go for today? Like it's got to be astronomical because of how everything is.
I don't think Saturns are insane, right? Okay. Like,
I have no idea. Like that's one I would like to get because again, I never even.
So based off of what Game Eye says, a Sega Saturn console is going for about $134.
Yeah, that's
not
fair.
Bad at all.
That's fine.
Okay, yeah.
I think you could pay $150 for that and be happy you paid $150 for it, as long as it's got a controller and stuff. And then you can get into the weird shit where you get an analog controller for that system and all that other shit.
Because I feel like that system, it's like there's like maybe how many games came out for it? Wasn't very many, but there's the core ones that are really expensive, and then there's a lot of like filler stuff.
That was the weird like working designs area where like everything has gotten nuts. But I want the library can't be more than probably 150, maybe 200. It's not a lot, but like some of those games.
Well, because there's like that bad version of Castlevania Symphony of the Night that was on Saturn, and then that's the version they ported to PS4.
Right.
So,
but then like, there's cool stuff on there. Like there's like the Daytona racing game on there is good.
Yeah.
They've got there's a Resident Evil on there you'd probably like, but that's getting expensive.
I would like. It's going to be up there.
Sonic CD, which was actually pretty good.
Those working design games, I would be.
Or Sonic Jam is the one that was crazy, but like there's cool stuff on it, like RPGs and all that, whatever. I'm trying to think of something I haven't played, and like I'm not trying to get into like the weird, like super weird stuff. Like, I have a couple Lynx games.
Wonder Swan.
I've played one of those before. Those are neat.
I've played one of those.
I actually kind of want one
before. So.
Those are cool. I have a couple Lynx games, but I've never played an Atari Lynx, like the handheld. I'd like to get one.
I
will say I own, I think 2 3DOs now because they made a bunch of different ones of those.
I've played a 3D.
I've never played the ones I've owned. I could say that. Like I played when I was a kid. My best friend's brother's best friend actually owned one at the time they existed, which was insane because those were expensive. Like those were crazy.
They were very like that was the reason I never.
And I remember we went to his house one day and we just played 3DO for a while. And like, that system sucks. But I remember I've played it, but that was at this point 20
playing some Night Trap
25 years ago, 30. You know what I mean? Like it's been a long time. So
that's also the system that has Plumbers Don't Wear Ties, right?
3DO? Or
it's that, and
I think so.
I thought that was 3DO and then Night Trap are the two. Night Trap I know was 3DO because that was 3DO and then maybe Jaguar, but I think they both had it.
Yeah.
Plumbers Don't Wear Ties was on one or the other.
That was a 3DO game. Yeah.
Okay.
It's only $440 now.
That sounds about fair.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm not gonna lie, this thing from Analog looks pretty dope.
Like if
I have the Super Nintendo one. I love it.
All of their products.
I need to hook it back up.
But I've been waiting on them to announce like one that thing's going to exist because it's going to be awesome to have.
The problem I have with the TurboGrafx is,
yeah, but I think
it could be this fall. I could see it. Yeah. The problem I have with the TurboGrafx, like, it's an amazing system. Every game is expensive. It is everything. Even the common stuff is like $30-$40.
I need to get the. They are making
that card thing.
Yeah, they're making
the emulator card thing. Yeah,
the adapter for the Pocket too. So I might just get that and play the couple games I have in there. But like, I'd like to pick up more of those, but those are all getting crazy too.
I have 2 TurboGrafx games. Obviously, the one that's sealed that will not be open.
Nope.
And then the other one I have, it's a shooter. I'm trying to think. It could be an R-Type or something.
I remember.
Which is fine. Yeah, my girlfriend got it for me for Christmas. Yeah, one of the years. I want to say it's an R-Type game, which would sound correct.
Yeah, I've just got kind of like random ones that I don't even know how I got them over the years, but I have them. But I'll get that. No.
But like that's the thing I can say is like I've even played a Wonder Swan at some point, but I've
always wanted one of those. Yeah.
The game store that I used to have that was local to me when I lived in southern part of Illinois, that was a game exchange, which those still exist today.
No, that's actually a chain.
In our state.
Yeah.
That's where I got my Dreamcast, but they had the Wonder Swan.
Yeah.
So, and that stuff's really cool.
Those are cool.
Mm-hmm. So, but it's a great question. Like I said, I had to really think about it because, like, outside of the Saturn, like, at some point in my life, I have played pretty much at least once.
Yeah, I've always wanted to try everything.
Saturn for whatever reason, which sounds crazy now that I say it, but
you know what I can think of one quick one at the end that I bet you haven't. I've never played a real Neo Geo. Like a real one,
like the not the handheld one,
not the handheld one, and not like the stuff that they remade a couple years ago. I've never played a real one I
probably haven't either. I've definitely played the handheld one, and then obviously those games they put out those collections.
Well, those were games that were back then. A Neo Geo was $700 and games were $300. It's like
exactly
who the hell like what?
Yeah, who was buying that?
But then they made that like gold thing, and I messed around with that because we got one at the store. I want to say
okay.
But I've never played a real Neo Geo for sure.
That makes sense. So, well, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of Podcast 572. As always, thank you for your emails. Please send them in at podcast. It is podcast572@gmail.com. Send your game recommendations in. I especially enjoyed reading those this week. If you got more, especially like even if it's a game that we've played, we can at least talk about it.
Or if you want to talk about it,
I probably would have never mentioned State of Decay 2, so I'm glad somebody did.
Yeah.
Send your GameStop questions in. I guarantee you, the next time we record, somebody is going to say something about that damn credit card since you mentioned it.
Please,
now.
I would like to have
somebody out there.
I would like to have a pointed, like almost like detailed question about the credit card that isn't just like, can you explain what it was? But like, maybe tell us your experiences with having one.
Like how much it sucked. Yeah.
If
you want to rant about it,
rant
about it.
Oh, you still have yours? I cut mine up, dude. Gone.
Yeah. I still have mine, but like I put it in my nightstand before I moved into this house, and then I think it made the move, but it's still in there. But like I'm never going to use it again.
Yeah,
so.
Better hope nobody gets hold of it. Here goes your credit score.
They will.
There you go.
I check it every month.
Yeah.
All right. But anyways, thank you again. We'll be back in another 2 weeks with another edition of Podcast 572. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Have a good one.